Greetings to one and all. It's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with another episode of Countermeasures. And I'm in the drawing room again. This is the best place for me. It's definitely the best place for me. So I've got an hour. It's not lunch. My days are all over the place these days. I don't know when lunch is anymore. So whatever. I've got an hour. I'm going to use this hour to do some sketching. So let's do a little recap of where we got to. We did these spreads the other day. That's fine. We did this. We got to the point where... Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did this one. So we did the trees and the walkthrough. We did that on the last one. I've since done this one, which is kind of... She needs some work, but, you know. Looking down, they found the dog. Sad little dog, look. And then Emily steps over the log to go and try and comfort the dog. And of course... He gets a bit angry and she falls over. We've got some dialogue here. We've got Emily feeling a little... I've decided that actually the thing that's bothering me the most about her is that she has the kind of shorter cropped hair. And I think as soon as I drew this one, I kind of liked her, the sort of feeling of her face a bit more, a bit longer. So, you know, teenage girl, long hair, fair enough. So then she sort of helps her up and she gets to this point now. We've got an interesting page to draw today. If any of you are still hanging in there, it's going to be a long journey. We're on a journey together. Right, so where did we get to? So she says, we got to 30, what dialogue 31. So she was there, okay. So a dream has come true today for me. I knew at some point in my career, whether that be through design, advertising, or illustration, comic books, at some point I would have to draw an old lady stabbing a dog. I know I've made it. Bucket list, check. That's what we're going to do today. We're going in the deep end. Oh yeah. Let's get creative. And I don't even have any scamps for this page. We're just going to get down and dirty with the old dog killing grandmother. But we're going to do it tastefully. So we've got a little bit of dialogue here where G says, that's right, Em, there's no shortage of those, the bodies. Even after all these years, they still get tangled up in the debris. Grandad could never clear it up completely, so they keep turning up. The bodies, Grandma, the bodies. Right, so we've got a little bit of dialogue between... now, I need to move this down a bit and out of my face so I can actually see what I'm doing. Everything's always all over the place, of course. It's my style, innit? It's my style. Right, we're going to get a bit footloose and fancy free now because we've got a little bit more. We've got a lot of work to do on these, and I'm taking probably a little bit too long on the scamps because I'm going to change it all. It's just what I do. So we're going to have, we've got a bit of dialogue here. Just saying that's right, and there's quite a large bit of dialogue actually, so I think I'm going to have that as an out. Sort of just slightly cutting into that box. Let's just take that out, it looks a bit messy. I'm going to have that dialogue balloon linking up here. I haven't quite designed the style of those yet, but I think they're not going to be like traditional dialogue balloons. I'm going to do something different with them. Let's do a nice big close-up of good old Grandma G. Still need to work out exactly what these specs are going to look like. But for now, they look like Puff Daddies. Let's just give her a little bit of a pursed lip there. Oh, G's bobble hat still hanging in there. A lot of knitted goods in the future. In the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Not many sheep though. Saying that bit of dialogue. What's she saying? That's right, Em. 32 bits of dialogue already. We're on page 5. There's 5, maybe 6 of these issues. I think there's going to be 6 issues of this, which I'm looking forward to doing. But sweet Mother of Mary and Joseph, there's a lot to do. In here. I'm going to have M's dialogue this side, cutting in here, I think. I like a bit of composition, mate. Now she's going to be coming down here, along there. Now we're going to have the back of them both looking down at Mr. Feral Dog. It's like with these kind of things, like just establishing who's saying what and when is so like important. So many books and comics I read, and sometimes there's like a mismatch of who's saying what and when, and I like a bit of continuity. And I also think like making that nice and clear who's speaking. You know, you can do that with like coloured speech bubbles if you want to, but for me, I feel like if you can define your character's silhouettes in the first 3 or 4 pages, this is page 11, but whatever, then you've kind of succeeded in establishing your characters, and then you can get away with a lot more who's saying what and when, but with silhouettes and outlines, things like that, which is what I'm doing here. So we've got, obviously that is Emily, and this is grandmother with her funny hat on. Right, so she's got 33 now. She's looking at the speckled eyes of Crazy Dog. We need a nice close-up of his speckled eyes. So we've got a longer one here, so let's get the old ruler out. Maybe we'll give you enough to play with. Let's have a look. I still like being freehand. I can't help it. I'm going to do this freehand as well. Just feels less permanent at this stage. I don't want it to be too tight. Yeah, that's fine. Right, speckled eyes of the dog. Here we go. Let's do a close-up of the mutt's face. Doesn't even have a name, poor thing. He's going to be annoyed, because not only has he just tried to attack our main protagonist, he's also got his leg caught. Barr. He's going to have like a few tears, stuff going on. He's got a lot going on. He's a feral wild dog. Snout. Dogs have eyeballs too. Right, let's have a look. Now, closer inspection shows that he has some kind of infection. And that rhymes. This is all part of the story. Again, like when I was at school, they would always try and put me on a drawing board. You know, here's your drawing board, tape it all up, draw, and I find it like I want to move, I want to move my hands around, and I want to change the direction of this thing. Sometimes I want to draw upside down and like just get kind of detailing in that I wouldn't necessarily do if it was fixed. And you know, they'd always be trying to nail me down. But it wasn't for me, so that's why on this stream I'm a dirty bald here. I'm constantly moving around, so apologies if for any reason I suddenly find myself down here. Like, what do you think of this? So I like to move, yo. It's like that scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yes, I am going to compare myself to that film, where they say, Butch, Sundance, or whichever one, shoot this can or whatever, and he tries to shoot it and he can't shoot it. And they're like, oh, you're meant to be a really good shot. He's like, no, I can't shoot it. And then he says, can I move? And they say, yeah. And then he starts to move, and as soon as he moves, he's like an amazing shot. That is how I feel my drawing is, except it's not amazing when I move. Just marginally better than when I'm sitting still. If I can move the paper around, I'm happy. How did we not see it before? Poor old dog. Yeah, okay. Close up of Doodles. Sorry, mate. You've got some weird mystery illness, but it's not COVID. Ironically? Well, not ironically. Ironically would be if this was written by a dog with COVID, I guess. Ironically, I wrote this well before the pandemic. So it's like, as I write, it happens. I need to write another story where I win £1 billion on a yacht. Right, let's have a look. Gross, his eyes are all speckled. Maybe we're going to change something here. I'm going to drop that down. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's just get a little bit of order here. Yep. I'm going to put you in there. So you're going to be saying that box. That's 34. You're 34. And then you are going to be up here. I do these. 33. 33 looks closely at the frog dog. Gross, his eyes are all speckled. Not a good sign. Looks like this chap is infected badly too. And look at his ribs. He's starving. And he doesn't have long. Oh, doggy. He doesn't know any better. Just put the bloody thing down. He's pissed though. Go. Got his leg caught. Still. Yeah, that's better. Talks. There's a bit of overlap there. Maybe we won't do that. That is misleading. So let's just cut into that. And we're going to chop that one really short there. Bring it down. Let's do that. Yeah. So 34 here. Here, there, leave it 34. 34. That's better. Otherwise it was leading you down to that picture and missing out this bit of dialogue here, which I may change anyway, but I'm sure I will. Wee doggy! Now, are we going to get to this part where she... there's a bit of dialogue going on here, but I'm going to cut that into the next few bits. So let's just... I want to kind of make a bigger thing of this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have... we're going to do this. Dirt, dirt, dirt. And OG's going to be doing the dirty down here. Let's just pencil her in for a second. Really going to see what she's doing. It's going to be a little bit more family friendly, Disney orientated. Can't really see what she's going to be doing. She's going to be looking down like this. The hat would go around, something like that. Then what we're going to do is put in one here. And I don't want it to go behind her head, because if I do that, again, the misdirection of the flow of the story takes you there. And what I want to do is do da 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 da, and then bring her back around here. So let's pencil these out first. Shoulders in there, shoulders in there. Let's see. I like things to stay consistent. Where they're standing, things behind them. Too many books I read and it's just like, that wasn't there. You're too far away. This is too close. I like a bit of consistency. Rubber. That's 35. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then we've got a bit more dialogue with just going to have a dialogue along here. Now the question is, there's a bit here where it says she pulls on her gloves, but actually I think I'm going to have her wearing gloves anyway, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Yeah, that interview with Frank Miller was a good one. He was talking about page layouts and things, and he's saying, like, a lot of his earlier stuff is really good. Daredevil and all that stuff. The later stuff, like, I've got all the books. There's one, 300 was good, and then obviously there were a couple of spin-offs of that. One of them was Xerxes, and it's just not, I don't know, it's not up to the usual caliber, I would say. Partly because, like, in this interview that I heard him in, he was talking about how he sort of varies up the pace of his stories, where there's some things going on and there's a lot of action, then there's pages where there's not much dialogue, and then there are pages where it's like really thick and heavy with content, lots of text and lots of smaller boxes and people talking and interacting with each other, and I like that, information dense. So you can have like 50 pages, but maybe anyone else who was drawing it might stretch that to 75, but the reading is condensed to keep it all compact and tight, and I like that. And I'm trying to do a little bit of that with this as well. So in the coming pages there's quite a lot of dialogue. We've got a lot of stuff happening where they're chatting, and then there are pages where there's a lot happening, not much chatting, and and I quite like the pace of that. But in his later work, I kind of felt a little bit more stretched out, like almost like he had a page count to hit. I'm sure that wasn't the way. And also he's getting older, and he's probably a bit, no offense, but a little bit more free-handed than he was in the 80s, when his drawings, I would say, were at their peak, but that's just me. Yeah, this is going to be a dialogue box anyway. There's not much we can do for him, Grandma. The dog's gotta go. He's infected. He's hurt. He's hungry. What are we gonna do with him? I think we both know what's gonna happen, don't we? Off to the knacker's yard with you. Not you, Grandma. Yeah. Okay, so you've been reading too many comics. 36. Yeah, I have been reading too many comics. Right. It's probably going to need a little bit more reworking, that one. And then Emily says, poor little fella. What are we going to do with him? Let's take that corner off as well. We'll just sit that bit of dialogue there. And we'll do a close-up of her. feel much better with her having longer hair, I think. I have to rework that. Okay. Pick 7. Poor little fella. What are we going to do with him? Take him on the barbie, mate. There's only one thing we can do now, sweetheart. Look away. G pulls out her gloves, takes out her knife. Well, she got her gloves. We know she's got the shiv. Emily looks away, but peeks when G kills the dog. The dog whimpers and is then quiet. She's a murderer. Love a bit of fabric, me. It's not a happy job, Grandma, but somebody's got to do it in the future, and that someone's you. Dog murderer. Right, let's have a look. It's for the best. He's in a better place. No bobbles in the future. Suddenly got a bit bulky. I have to bring those shoulders in a bit. Forget that textured jacket. She's a dareband at killing her mutts. 38. Do this. It's going to go. And then we're going to go have a little sparko kind of noise coming out of the. Something like that. Trailing off. No, she can have some splattered blood. No, I don't think so. She's a dab hand. She's done it for a while. She wouldn't get any infected blood on her. And we're going to have Emily standing over here. She's just going to be peeking just a little bit. Not too much. Shoulders, and the waist in there. It's a butt shot. Folded arms? I think so. You would know that by a finger's being there. Yep. Okay, and we're going to do the background as a bit of a curve. Something like that. Look away while I shove this dog. We'll get the tree line in there. I think maybe the end of the tree bit would be like here. Let's give it some kind of context. It's still being in the same sort of place. Something like that. I probably will. Okay. Yep. It's like plotting a movie. Yep. Dialogue. What we're going to do, look away. Yep. Wunderbar! That was an easy one. Some of these take a little bit longer. I bet the structure of that's sort of working. Let's take this out. Yep. Grrr. Not happy. Should be a bit meaner, I think. Make them just a bit meaner. Yeah. Okay. What do you think? So I think we did that too. So we're getting towards the end of Act 1, which is there. Yeah, okay. Not bad. Right, I think that's all I've got time for. Just a quickie today. Thanks very much for tuning in, if you did indeed tune in. Or if you're rewatching this on YouTube, or whatever. If you do want to see more of this tantalising illustration work at this kind of concept stage, I am doing more and more of it during the week. You know, trying to do a few hours anyway. I'm meant to be doing like Wednesday nights, but it's not really working at the moment. So I'm just trying to do it when I can. You can watch this at twitch.tv/counter__measures. Yeah, youtube.com/countermeasures. Instagram.com/counter_measures. Or if you're really bored, you can go to jasonmeasures.com and see all of my other glorious illustration work. That's it. Until next time, be good. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. We gone. Peace.